what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
We'll try not to like too much talk over each other, but again, we are girls and we
Agree
are
to disagree.
Okay,
Moving on.
well, the makeup bottle.
A little.
It's like a cracked out T-bird, some grease.
Yeah, I can
You
see
know,
that.
she's got that black hair.
Oh, finally, we are back on the air with you guys. Hello, welcome to Chick Chat here on The Mesh. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Mary Margaret. There's Jeanette. Hey, Jeanette, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am good. We got a little secret producer moose action happening in the background too. You know, this is the time of year where we always bring Moose in because it's Big Brother season.
Yes.
Anyone has been listening to Chick Chat for any amount of time, you know that we love Big Brother. We do usually an episode kind of dedicated to it. We're going to do that a little bit today. If you are not a Big Brother fan, first of all, what's wrong with you? Second of all, it's okay. You can listen to the news bits at the first, and then we will break away for Big Brother, and you can tune out then if you want to. But I think we've got some stuff to discuss for Big Brother. So I'm ready to get going on it. Jeanette, how has the end of summer treated you?
Good. Kids back in school,
Whoop, whoop.
doing well. So fingers crossed it stays that way and they can
Yes.
continue.
We will. We started here this week as well.
Okay.
We're excited. The kids were ready to go. It's, you know, we'll see. We've only got 3 days under our belts, but so far so good. And
Well, we're 3 weeks in, so hopefully that stays. We
Are
stay in.
are you mask mandated?
Yes. So
Wow.
my daughter's school is mask mandatory, so I think that's helped.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yes, we too are mask mandated, as well as our educators and anyone in the building is mandated to be vaccinated. So we have that going for us too. So let's just all cross our collective internet fingers and hope that this sticks and that things kind of take a turn in the world because, dude, stuff's been like intense. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Delta is not good. COVID stuff, not good. Hospital numbers, not good. Afghanistan, not good. Hurricanes, not good. I mean, I don't know. Me personally, Texas, not good. But whatever. Like, if I'm just putting it out there. So, you know, things not good in the world, but I do think in Chick Chat, they are good. We are ready to discuss, get going. Got a couple of little news things, just two quick tidbits that I found kind of interesting. Thought I would share at the beginning here. So I'm going to get started. I know that you don't always watch Dancing with the Stars, but everybody understands the concept. It's dancing with the like B-list stars usually, right?
B, C, D.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
questionable sometimes, right? But it is, you know, ABC makes a big deal out of it every year of who is going to be in the cast. Good Morning America does like special announcements and all this jazz. But they've started announcing this year's cast. And there is some interesting tidbits to it. I'm curious of your opinion on it and like where it's going to go. But mainly, the first person that they announced was JoJo Siwa. Okay, you have a daughter.
I do.
You and I have daughters. We know who JoJo Siwa is. Like,
Yeah, my daughter knew who JoJo Siwa was before she was like JoJo Siwa from
Exactly.
Dance Moms.
Dance Moms, right?
Yeah, that's where, you know, and I always saw her on I watched that show as well before my daughter ever started watching it. She's like going back and she's doing old Dance Moms, her and her friends. And I'm like, oh, I was there from the beginning when this was going on.
You're like, way to catch up. Come on now.
Right. So yeah, I would see JoJo and her mom, and they were just like any of the other standard dance moms, But I'm gonna say, like, of all the kids that came out, am I shocked that JoJo was like the standout biggest star? Yeah, I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah.
She had a little bit of a speech impediment where she couldn't pronounce her R's, and her mom was not one of the most unlikable ones, but you could see that she was one of those that had stars in her eyes for her daughter.
She had potential of being a trash bag. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but hey, I'm not disappointed. And when the bow things, she had a little thing. She had the bows, and who knew that would be her kickoff to stardom?
I mean, the bow thing was intense for a while, right?
Yeah.
They were gigantic hair bows that she put her name behind, and people bought them. Like,
my daughter made me buy her some. Then she actually said a couple days ago, like, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, but I mean, they're cute, but I'm not going to wear JoJo Siwa bows anymore.
We're a little past that age now, I believe.
Right.
But we did see the JoJo stage in our house for sure. She's bouncy, she's cheerful, she does like kids bop style stuff, right? And in the past year, she has come out as pansexual.
Yes.
So she actually has I don't know if she still does, but she did when she came out. She had a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And, there was obviously two sides of the world, people saying, like, some people were saying, oh my gosh, JoJo, this is ridiculous. And on the other hand, people are like, cool, whatever. Like,
I don't care.
Everybody
stop announcing your preference to me because I don't care.
Yeah. I think that was
announcements. Seriously, y'all, I don't need announcements. Like, I'm not.
I don't announce like everything that I do in my personal life. Right. I understand that she's a public figure. But
true. Yes. People may care about hers, but
yeah, it's just gotten to the point where I'm kind of the same way. I'm like, cool. Like, I don't know that we needed an ABC special report on it and whatnot.
right.
This is how it is these days, right? Like, are we not? I know we're not. Unfortunately, in the world, I know we're not past the point of people judging someone that doesn't have the same preference as them.
Right.
I get that. I don't agree with it, but I get that that's still the way the world is. So here's what Dancing with the Stars has done. JoJo is going to be dancing with a female. She's going to have the same sex partner for the first time on Dancing with the Stars. Okay. Here's the thing. Okay. First of all, bravo. Like, great. I don't understand how we're on season 30 and you're just now doing this. But second of all, JoJo Siwa is not the first gay, pansexual, bisexual, anything that's been on Dancing with the Stars.
Right.
So, I'm not sure why they're doing it now or what their reasoning is behind it, I guess. I'm not sure how they plan to. Does that affect the judging of like how people are taught these dances?
Well, yeah, because I mean, you've got to think that I don't know the only person I didn't know JoJo. I hadn't seen any of the list yet. I knew they were coming out with it. The only thing I knew was that Tyra's still there. Our campaign didn't work, but and I'm sure someone else. I know one other person is going to be on there, and I was like, ugh, not a fan. So, yeah, my whole thing is fine. I don't. It's whatever.
Right.
But yeah, the judging wise, like when you get into certain dances, are they going to be able to do the lifts? Are they going to be able to do? I mean, I'm sure they can do other things, but
right.
I didn't know that was like a thing where. I don't know. I don't understand ballroom dancing enough. It's like, does it have to be male, female, female, or male, female? Like,
and that's what I'm not sure of. But I'm also, like I said, I'm just real curious why now?
Yeah.
It's like I said, they've had openly gay people on the show before. That has not really ever been a problem.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I'm thinking of even last season. What's the male figure skater's name? That's
Yeah. Oh, it escapes me right now. Johnny something.
Yeah. Johnny Weir? No.
Johnny Weir. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's very open, and he was still with a female
Mm-hmm.
in the sense of, I think when it came to the way the show was presented, as in like you're learning these dances, I don't think they were saying you have to be with a female because male and female are the only way to dance.
Right.
But that's not the case. It wasn't that. It was more probably not the best term, but the equality of having male, female as teams, right? Like,
yes.
That's more where I think like that's what they are doing. They're not doing it to separate people that are not straight. Like, I don't know. But anyway, so that's interesting. It's going to happen. I don't know where that's going to take this season. Yes, Tyra is back. Not happy about it, but the judges panel comes back the same way. I think Lynn is still going to kind of be remote because Derek Huff still is going to be on the panel, which I like. I like Derek.
I like Derek more than I like his sister judging, but
yeah, she's
I didn't mind her, but yeah.
She can be a little over the top. But I'd rather see her on the floor. I'd rather see Derek on the floor actually too.
Yes.
But anyway.
Bring back Derek and Mark.
100%. Where is Mark Ballas?
I want Mark, Val, and Derek all back.
Mark,
and
Val,
Max.
and Max. I think Max is coming back this year. I'm not 100%. Don't quote me on that. But that's always fun for me too to see is the pros that come back, right? So along with JoJo Siwa, we know for a fact that Suni Lee, the American gold gymnast, is going to be on the show as well.
Mm-hmm.
We know that gymnasts have a really big history on the show of doing great.
Yeah.
So you put her against a former Dance Mom star, and maybe there's a good tie. I have no idea. We also know that the Bachelor Matt James is going to be on there because ABC's got to get their kicks in there somehow of cross promotion.
Not a fan.
I'm not sure Matt James should have been the one to do it. I'm just a little tired of Matt James. That's all I'm saying.
I'm very tired in his back and forth and wishy-washy. I'm no longer a fan.
Moose is tired of Matt James too. And Moose, I didn't even realize. Moose produces, we do have a show here on The Mesh called My Dad Watches The Bachelor, which if anybody wants to tune in sometime, it's hilarious because it is truly a father-daughter duo that watch Bachelor and The Bachelorette and then discuss it, and he gives fatherly advice. I will preface this by saying they don't watch Bachelor in Paradise, or they maybe they watch it, but
that might be uncomfortable.
They don't do the show mainly because the dad calls it like Syphilis Island or something like that.
Yes, that's probably a good explanation.
Whatever it is, it's some sort of.
It's Chlamydia Island.
Chlamydia Island. Thank you.
Either one.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. So Matt James, I'm not down for, but he is supposedly going to be on the show, as well as Kenya Moore from Real Housewives of Atlanta. Yeah.
I'm not really stoked about this year. Maybe they're saving the best people for last.
Maybe, I don't know. We did just find out yesterday, I believe, that Olivia Jade.
That's the one I'm not a fan of. I don't get it. I'm
not real sure that we need to be feeding this girl more attention.
Or why she would even want more attention.
Olivia Jade, for those that aren't familiar with it, is the daughter of
Lori Loughlin.
Lori Loughlin, thank you, and Massimo.
Target fame.
Yeah, the college admission scandal. Enter Olivia Jade. Like, this is where these discussions and stuff.
Is she a celebrity? I mean, I know she had her little YouTube or whatever it was influencer thing before the whole UCLA thing, but again, she didn't seem to be remorseful for anything that she did.
Right. I'm sure that we need to reward her, right. I guess is what it is, by being on the show. Like, is she still in college? Is she I mean, is Mama still in jail? I don't know. Like this stuff is why I'm not sure she needs to be on there. But it's confirmed that she's going to be there. I did hear buzz of another person who I think could be a fantastic person on there is Amanda Klutz. She's the wife of Nick Cordova, who
Who passed away
from COVID. He was the Broadway star, and she has recently been on The Talk or The View or one of those women sitting around talking shows.
See, this is where the show's getting away from Dancing with the Stars to just dancing with people in the news, because
that's what it is.
it's like it's no longer Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is now. And you know, I think people watch it because you see somebody who maybe has some really like online fabulous life, right? And then they get on a stage and they can't move their feet.
Right.
That's humorous.
Well, I mean, think about it.
there's a
We
large
had
appeal
people
to that.
like, we started with people like Joey Lawrence and Joey McIntyre and, you know, actual people who may have been child stars that we hadn't seen in a while or maybe saw once or twice. And all of a sudden that helped kickstart their career again into something different. Alfonso Ribeiro. I mean, we all knew who he was. He's on reruns every day, but now he's hosting America's Funniest Home Videos. It's like watching people who can actually do something and that you actually have a connection with from either childhood or something else. Going, oh, I remember them. Like I can imagine one day, maybe in 10 years from now, seeing someone from the cast of Friends on there, you know, like those type of people dancing with the stars, like people who were stars back in the day. They may not be household names now, but if you saw them walking on the street, you'd still be like, oh, hey, isn't that so-and-so, you know?
Well,
like,
and did you ever watch when we were young, like Circus of the Stars?
yes.
Oh my God. See, that I loved, right?
Yes.
Like that was a big, cool deal because they put real stars, and these were people that were on TV at that time. Like these
either
were
soap operas or sitcoms or TV shows, dramas. Yeah.
They were pulled off the show at that time and then put on like a trapeze. And that was awesome.
And you're like, oh my gosh, they're going to die on TV.
This was amazing. I loved Circus of the Stars. And so, you know, I think that there is some of that from our generation of people watching, hoping to get some of that, maybe feeling back. I don't know. I watch it as like a guilty pleasure a little bit. My mom watches it, and so we discuss it. And now my children have gotten into it to where they think it's cool when they know somebody on there, like Sky Jackson was on there before.
Yeah.
And, you know, they see some of those people and they think that's really cool. What was the guy from Zombies? Milo?
Oh, yeah. Milo Ventimiglia.
Yeah, super, super cute. And
that's where I realized his mom was a star. I was like, oh, I know his mom from The Practice.
Yes. And so they love that. You know, they think that's neat. They don't get some of these people. Like last year, Caitlin Bristow was the Bachelorette and she won, and they were like,
right.
Like,
and I don't think she should. Yeah.
Like
so, I'm fine with JoJo. I'm fine with Suni Lee because yes, they are stars. You know, Olympic stardom is big. Not everybody can be an Olympian, but like when we get down to the Olivia Jades, I guess Kenya Moore is somewhat of a star. She's on reality TV. She's been in TV shows. She's a former Miss USA. I don't want to get it wrong because she gets upset. I don't know if it's Miss USA America, whatever she is. Some national queen title.
Yeah.
I mean, fine, whatever. But yeah, I want people like Ricky Schroeder. Where's Silver Spoon's guy?
Well, didn't they have the guy from Dukes of Hazzard on there one year?
They did, yeah.
Tom.
I think the blonde was Johnny. No, his name was Schroeder too, wasn't it?
Schneider.
Yeah, John Schneider.
Moose coming in hot with the answers. I love it. It's John Schneider. You know, like there's people like that I'm like, let's see some of these people that I have been wondering where they were. Right. Yeah. That's what we want. So they're going to announce more as they go. They just had on the article I read the other day, they just told the professionals who are going to be on the season to get to LA. Like, so from what I understand, the professionals don't even know until up to the very last minute because of who drops out, who says yes, who says no, all that stuff.
Gotcha.
So those people are on their way. So we will be having a new Dancing with the Stars soon. And I know we'll all just be anxiously awaiting it.
I'm just waiting for Tom Bergeron to make his return. I'm tired of Tyra.
Quit teasing me. I don't like Tyra at all. I miss Tom, but whatever. He's pissed and he's done. He's like, screw you, ABC. So be it. Somebody else that said screw you is Kim Kardashian West. Did you hear that she is saying no, she is not going to drop West from her name in the divorce?
Why?
She wants to have that connection to her children.
Okay.
And while I get that, I'm kind of curious who actually ever called her Kim Kardashian West. Like, I'm not sure that's that big of a statement. Everybody still says Kim Kardashian, in my mind at least. But yeah, she has announced that she will not be dropping her name. She will remain a West. However, this is prior to the announcement yesterday after his album, Kanye's newest album, has been released. I don't know if you've heard any of it.
I haven't heard it, but I've heard about what he says in it.
Yeah. So Donda is the new album. And supposedly, in one of the songs, he actually kind of alludes to cheating on her. After
I heard it was the other way around. Maybe it's both. Is it both?
No, it's him saying, shoot, what is it? I'm going to find it. It's, I forget the name of it, of the song. But anyway, he says something about like, after two kids, still, with a new girl, or found a new girl, still in my old ways, or something like that. I mean, he kind of.
So there's one where he alludes to her cheating as well. And it's something about how long since when does it take 2 hours to come back from Palm Springs or something, and who spends an hour in Walgreens.
I do sometimes.
I was like, Kanye. Easy to spend an hour in Walgreens. Let Kim be.
Yeah. Who cares?
Sometimes you got to go aisle by aisle, depending on how much Walgreens is.
Sometimes they're not ready with your prescription.
Right.
So this song that he has, the line, the chorus, the phrase, whatever, I don't know. It says, "Here I go acting too rich. Here I go with a new chick. And I know what the truth is, still playing after two kids. It's a lot to digest when your life's always moving."
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I do know my daughter wants to listen to it. She talked about it yesterday. So,
well, they refer also to their house.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Who was featured? The house was featured in Architectural Digest,
Mm-hmm.
and so in the song he says, "Architectural Digest, but I need home improvement. $60 million home, never went home to it. Genius gone clueless. It's a whole lot to risk. Alcohol Anonymous, who's the busiest loser? Heated by the rumors, read into it too much. Fiending for some true love, ask him, who do you love? Or what do you love? Hard to find the truth is, but the truth was that the truth suck. Always seemed to do stuff, but this time it was too much." I mean, deep, deep lyrics from Kanye. I mean,
he's always kind of deep. So,
he's just, I don't know. I don't
know about
Not
putting your
a-
business out there. It's very Taylor Swiftish.
it's it's funny you say that. You know, I think Kanye, who by the way has also filed for legal name change
To what? Oh, to Yay.
to Yay, just Yay.
Just Yay.
And just like I think people will still just call her Kim Kardashian, I'm pretty sure everybody's just going to say Kanye West. Like, I don't care what the court says. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of, like you said, like putting everything out there. And I don't know, it's a little trash bag style to like put
And you've got kids
that
who
on
will hear
blast.
this later.
100%. It just seems trashy. And
My thing with, I mean, I get the connection to her kids. I understand that. I mean, she's not the first woman to ever do it. So, I mean, there's
Sure.
plenty of people who always keep their maiden name. My
Sure.
concern comes in when, or if she ever gets married again, is she going to be a double hyphen, or will she drop West at that point?
I mean, did you just hear what you said in the whole if she ever gets married again? It's Kim that we're talking about. Kim enjoys
She's on
the
number
wedding.
3, though. She doesn't do number 4.
But she's only like, how old?
She's close to 40.
Yeah. Girl loves a wedding. She gonna get married
She
again.
does. Yeah. That's
She
very
gonna get married
true.
again. And
Just like J-Lo will get at least engaged again. She's the forever,
Absolutely.
like, I will be engaged. A forever fiance, a couple. Well, she's been married 3 times too now, right? 3 or 4. She's had
Who?
3 or 4 husbands. J-Lo.
oh yeah.
So they're like
Absolutely.
competing.
Yeah.
How many times can they be engaged and married?
You know, I foresee her as someone who will get married again. It's just
Yeah.
I see that. Yeah, you know, I get so tired of sort of the Kardashian crap that goes around, right? Like I miss the simpler times with Kardashians. But
When was that? When were the simpler
Because,
times?
you know, I think back to the early days of their show, you know, and the
regular house that looked like a regular family house. Yeah.
you know, and yeah, just I kind of miss those days, and so I'm glad the show was off. I think that it went on a little too long, but it's fine. And now, I just don't want to hear all their drama in a Yay song, whatever you call them. I don't know. Yeez, something.
Yeezy.
Yeah, I refuse. Little bit of fun info that I came across the other day. I don't know how I came across it because it's a really bizarre thing to share with you, but I feel the need to share something about the royal family.
Of course.
And I have found the article that explains their favorite foods from insiders. This
Okay.
is real hard-hitting news. Just
It
pay attention.
is. In case I'm ever like invited to a dinner party, I know what to bring.
Well, this is fun, all right? So the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth, her favorite meal is a hamburger.
No way.
I was surprised by this. Says that she prefers her hamburgers without buns. She likes to eat it with a knife and fork. And she puts cranberries on it instead of ketchup. And when they make this for her, they call it the ma'am burger.
Oh my. Okay.
The
I mean,
ma'am
it doesn't sound terrible.
mom burger.
I don't know that I'm going to rush out and put some cranberries on my hamburger to try it, but
I mean, if it's good
It's
enough
not
for the
too-
Queen, Jeanette.
I mean, I've heard of some other crazy things on hamburgers. I mean, I like peanut butter on mine, so
Oh yeah, I do too. Prince Charles, this one I'm not surprised by. His favorite meal or his fondness that his chef or whoever, I don't know who they are getting their news from, but basically the instruction was that every morning he wants 2 plums and a little juice in a bowl and sent to him for breakfast. He would take 1 plum out and save it for later and then eat the 1 plum. So his chef said one day he sent up just 1 plum, and Charles was like, I asked for 2 plums. And he said, yes, but you always take 1 out and save it. So I figured I would just keep it chill for you so you don't have to do that. And he was like, I need 2 plums, please. So Charles is apparently big on dual plums in the mornings.
That's it?
Yeah, plums and juice. Prince George, his favorite is spaghetti carbonara.
Well, that's quite sophisticated for a child his age.
I mean,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's not a posh meal or anything, but I don't know that my kids have ever had spaghetti carbonara.
I don't know that I've had carbonara. Like, I don't really sure.
I've
what
had
tastes
it, but
like.
I don't know that my
What
kids.
is
I've
it?
never made it.
What is
It's
it?
spaghetti with bacon and like a cream sauce.
Oh, yum.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good.
Well, Princess Charlotte likes cheesy pasta. So maybe that's,
Mac and cheese.
yeah.
She-
They're just
Yeah.
saying fancy words now for us.
Yeah.
But her favorite snack is olives. And I was like,
Oh,
me too.
Charlotte and I
girl.
can. Me too. I have some in my refrigerator right now that I snack
So
on.
I love it. It's my favorite snack. Prince Louis, beetroot is his favorite snack.
That's very posh. Who gave the kid
because-
beetroot?
I bet it's a lie too. I bet they were like, "Oh God, Charlotte said mac and cheese. We got to do something fancy."
And the other kids over here eating spaghetti carbonara.
And they're like, "Ooh, somebody give him beetroot because we grow that in our garden." Yeah,
Somebody gave that
Um,
poor kid beetroot. Aw.
and
Give
he's like,
Louis some
"Fine,
pasta.
whatever." Rest in peace, Prince Philip. But apparently, his favorite was salmon
Okay.
something, a salmon puff pastry.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
It's got a fancy name. I don't know how to pronounce.
It's not a salmon croquette, is it?
It's like
That's not a pastry though, so it can't be that.
Coulibiac.
Oh, I don't know. I've never heard of that.
Coulibiac?
Coulibiac?
Don't know.
Coulibiac? Coulibiac? Don't know what
No
that
idea.
is.
Kate Middleton likes curry, and she likes
Oh.
it quite hot, she says.
Quite hot. Oh, that's got to be fun.
Quite hot.
Like just
And-
curry? Like, are you putting it on anything? Or-
I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what she said. She actually says, "Oh, the children like it with no spice. William likes it medium, and I like it quite hot."
All right.
She said Charlotte handles heat really well. I mean, see what we're learning here. Do you see this hard-hitting news?
I mean, I could have dinner with these folks, except for Louis. I'm not eating beetroot with the kids.
Yeah. I mean, okay, and so to wrap this piece up, you know what? And I mean, shout out to People Magazine for actually making this
This hard-hitting news.
hard-hitting news and the joke at the end of it, which basically says that clearly Meghan and Harry's favorite food is roasted chicken.
I was going to say, it's got to be roasted chicken. But do we find out Williams, or do we know?
No, he just likes medium spice. curry.
Medium spice. Okay.
But yeah, so Meghan Markle and Prince Harry
Roasted
roasted
chicken.
We
And avocado toast.
and we all know what roasted chicken means in the eyes of Chick Chat.
We do.
Because
Yeah, they like
apparently
roasted chicken.
That's what they were doing whenever they got engaged, roasting a chicken,
That's
Hint,
the story.
hint.
And they're
That's-
sticking to it.
and they're sticking to it. All right, so yeah, that was just a fun little tidbit I came across. You know, okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna talk real quick about this fascinating show that I've been watching. watched. And then we're going to hit up the Big Brother news. So, one more info here. Have you watched on Netflix My Unorthodox Life?
No.
Moose, have you watched it? Okay. Moose says no. All right. This is a maybe like 9-10 episode something series on Netflix. Very Kardashian style, let's follow around the family, yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
So the family consists of Julia Hart, who is the CEO of Elite Model Agency, who, by the way, has one of the Kardashians as a model, as well as many of the famous models in the world, right? But Julia Hart has 4 children, and one of them is married, so that girl's husband is kind of another child in their family. But she is a former Orthodox Jew. And she escaped the life. Okay. She lived in Muncie, New York, which is like an Orthodox Jew sort of hub, I guess.
Okay.
And she was married. She got married in an arranged marriage very young to Yosef. And they have 4 children. And her oldest daughter gets married when she was 19. 2 days after the wedding, Julia says, screw this, I'm gone. I don't want this life. She leaves, flees to New York with the money that she has been saving up secretly by being an insurance agent on the side that nobody knows about. She saved her money up and started a shoe line by herself.
Huh.
No, this is how bizarre this show is. Started a shoe line and then somehow became famous from that and then got named the president of Elite Models. I don't know.
I feel like has to be more to the story.
I guess. But she's very like sex positive.
Oh.
She's got the whole okay, let me just paint this picture. You start watching the show on Netflix, and before the credits come on, and before you know anything about it, you see Julia talking to a young, attractive couple who it labels at the bottom as her daughter, Shava, and her husband, Benjamin, aka Ben. And they are sitting outside this lovely home discussing how to have a better sex life with her.
Okay.
And then she explains about role playing. And then she talks about how she wanted to know if either of them had a vibrator. Okay.
Not conversations I've ever had with my parents or would ever plan to have.
Just stating the show facts, not real life here. She so then, we find out that Julia has left. She leaves the town. She takes her 2 of her younger kids with her. The 14-year-old son chooses to stay in Muncie because he is a black hatter, as he calls himself, where he's very traditional Orthodox Jew. He has decided to not watch TV, to not talk to girls. The other 3 children are trying to work for their mom. There's one that's bisexual, and she says, forget all the Jewish stuff. She doesn't care anything about this. But then there's the one that's married that is trying to convince her husband to let her wear pants. Because they don't wear pants, apparently, but she can wear, I don't know. It's very interesting and very intriguing, but I'd like somebody else to watch it because I feel like there's stuff that they're not telling us. because I don't understand how it all works out. She lives in this amazing penthouse in New York, and then all of her kids work for her, and it's like, I don't really know. But do you know anything about Orthodox Jew stuff?
I don't. So I'm going to be honest. Like what I know about Orthodox Jews, I've done a little bit of like watching historical things about them. I know they're very like, I don't know if this is the right word, but more of like the fundamentalist side of Jewish. So
They are.
more like
That's
traditional.
exactly what it is.
The traditional, old time, almost like they're not Amish, but almost like what I consider Amish, like very traditional, the olden ways, the old book. But if I'm honest, like most of what I've seen or heard focused on the men. And
Right.
so I don't know a lot about what the Jewish woman who's an Orthodox Jew what they have to follow.
Right.
Like, what are things that they can and cannot do?
She has several siblings that are all still back in Muncie, and then like one sibling that talks to her, the others don't. But that one is still very fundamental Jewish behavior. Her children are, some of them are, but it's really weird. I don't know. I need you to watch it.
Okay.
It is on Netflix. It's only like 10 episodes, and they're very easy to watch. But it's very curious. It's very odd. And not one that you would watch with your children. Because all she talks about is like vibrators and sex and stuff.
That's most of Netflix for me. I'm always like, I'm not watching this. Let me watch it first and then see if you can watch it. And
Good call.
Yeah.
Note to self, don't do it. Okay. So that's my little recommendation for the day. Now we move on to the real bit here. It is Big Brother time again. Season 23.
Hard to believe.
I can't believe it. It is one of the first seasons where I feel like maybe they've listened to us a little bit.
I'm telling you, they listen to Chick Chat and they're like, you know what? Those girls are onto something.
It is very much a unique take, I think, on some of the original games that they've had, but not the same old stuff. They've thrown in some twists this year. Trying to, I think, be a little more aware in production about what they put out. So I just want both of you, and welcome Moose. Oh, I'm sorry, who has changed his name on his screen to BB Expert. Okay, here we go.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for joining us, Moose. You know what to do. We're talking Big Brother, and I want to know from both Jeanette and Moose your elevator speech on how this season is going. Moose, go first.
Okay. Thanks for having me on this episode, Chick Chatters. Very much appreciate it, especially to give my most valuable input on this most important season of Big Brother. Yeah, it's okay. Season's okay. Let's be honest. It's just okay. There's a few things that I really do like in this year's season. Some of the, of course, the old favorites, the OTEP games, things like that. They're back in full swing. The Coin of Destiny element that they brought into the game, I think, was really cool. There's some wild like cultural things that are going on in this house this year that I don't know how I want to feel about it.
Okay, pause on that. Don't expand on that because we're going to. So I won't go any further than that until I'll defer to the other experts on the program. So Moose, do you believe that this season has been a good season thus far?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's fine. It's just
All right, Jeanette. What do you feel about this season as a whole? How is it going?
It's an interesting season. It's unlike any other season they've had, obviously. I actually like the dynamic in the house where it's definitely a more diverse cast, and it's interesting to see how that's all playing out. But I think it's more representative, and it doesn't allow one side to single out or target. And when I say more diverse, I mean not only racial, but age. I mean, no, the age thing there's not really too significant of age differences there, but also between the male and female, which they always have. But I feel like they tried to get people who not only shared maybe a racial or gender background, but also some commonalities in just personality, and to see how they would mesh together. I'm going to say, like, I'm terrible at this. I always pick the people that right off the bat from the first game, I'm like, oh, this is going to be the person I stick with through the game. And then they're always gone by like the week 2 or week 3. When I was watching the promos, like Frenchie, I was like, oh, okay. And here comes the Southern farm boy that they're going to get. And then it like spun 180. I'm like, whoa, okay. Frenchie is that, but he's got another layer to them. So that's when I was like, this is going to be an interesting season. I appreciate what's happening. I'm still curious to see like how it plays out, what happens in the weeks to come, because I thought I knew it was happening, and then I'm like, I don't know that I don't know what's really happening. If this is what I think is happening, or if it's really like, do we think this is what's happening, but there's really another game going on.
This podcast is sponsored by Jackson Creative, a custom communication agency located in downtown Hickory, North Carolina, specializing in online content creation. To learn more, visit thejacksoncreative.com. Jackson Creative, we tell your story.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm very confused. I can't get a handle on what's actually happening.
For sure. And first of all, my dog would also like to apologize for barking on the podcast.
He's a fan. He needs to put his 2 cents in.
Yeah, well, she watches with me, and she doesn't understand either. But honestly, like the Cookout Alliance, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about. For folks that are listening that don't watch Big Brother, the Cookout Alliance is people of color on the show. I don't know how I want to feel about it.
Most people of color.
Who is not?
Was Derek X wasn't part of it, was he?
He's Asian.
But he's a person of
like
color.
I'm thinking, okay, everybody that's not white is in the Cookout Alliance, right? Okay, let's make it easier. So I don't know how I want to feel about it, because okay, I'm as liberal as the day is long. Y'all know me like it's nobody's business. If the shoe was on the other foot and the white folks got together and said, okay, we're going to do this white person alliance, it would not go over well.
But has that not happened?
Knowing that there hasn't ever been a person of color win Big Brother, I see their angle. So I see both sides of it. I just don't know if like just backing someone to a fault as an alliance member just because they're the same race as you, I don't know how that plays. And I don't know what the numbers look like this season or whatever, as far as, Nielsen ratings and who watches the show or whatever. But it's just odd to me that they would do that like off the jump first episode, because that's what they did. They're like Derek, I forget what's Derek's last name, but Derek, the larger fella, was just like, Cookout Alliance, this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to roll. And we're just going to do this to the end. And everybody's like, okay, cool. And I was like, hold on one second. Like, and honestly, it's the best alliance as far as like keeping together as a group since Big Brother started. I mean, you can't say, how many people are in the Cookout Alliance? 6?
Like 6.
Right.
6.
So like, when's the last time you guys remember an alliance of 6 going further than jury?
No, absolutely. I do agree with the fact that this alliance, no matter how they're formed, right? No matter how they're formed, it has been a long time or never that I have seen an alliance that large basically even within diary room, within hidden cameras, all that stuff, they're sticking together and staying true. And nobody has picked up on it really. Like, not enough, not well enough to do anything about it. And they are actually not just a group of people that said we're going to kind of go to the end. They actually came up with this plan. Tiffany, I think, sort of charged it of everybody grabs a buddy. It's buddy system, right? And that person is who you go to the block with. You know, we're going to get that person out, but we're always going to have the numbers to protect you. But you have to put your
And they're going to do a throwaway vote.
Exactly. We have to put somebody up every time, you know,
Yeah.
and it has worked for them. And they, even on some of these super close relationships, such as Kylan and Sarah Beth, you know, those two are super tight. Everybody says like they're way tight and that they're the kind of the team that has to be broken up.
And Sarah Beth has zero idea about the cookout. And that's the thing. That's the thing that kills me is that they have kept that under wraps. They've like moved on with it. Like it is an assassin group.
And Kylan
really is.
And Kylan is there saying, gosh, I love Sarah Beth. Like she's the best and she's my best friend and all that stuff. But she's got to go home because I'm all about the cookout. And it's crazy. Like I've not seen that last, like you said, Moose, so long in an episode, in a season, you know.
But I don't think, Moose, I think the reason you're feeling that way, and I'm not saying, and it's not wrong, I mean, it's your opinion, but think about it. This isn't the first time an alliance of like individuals has formed. There was the all male, beefy male alliance, all white, excluded all women, excluded anybody else of color. But the reason it's being brought to the attention is one, I think the name, and two, there's never been an opportunity for people of color to join together because the numbers weren't there.
Right.
So
no,
there's always been white alliances, if that's what we're calling it, that excluded people of color or females or whatever you do it. And just said, you know, you're my people, we're going to stick together. But it just wasn't recognized because there was always a 10-3
right. The numbers were
ratio
never
there. The numbers were never there.
Right. Yeah. It's what we talked about last season, right? It's like how we want to see the casting changed, right? Well, they listened, number one. Yeah. And now when they put, how many people, I mean, not to get like make this thing racially charged, but they put 6 people of color in the house and it's the same. I mean, I don't want to compare apples to apples, but when they have the opportunity to do that, they definitely did, you know, and I think that number one, good on them. They saw an opportunity to seize that and they did it. But two, like, honestly, it was one of those things where, you know, it was almost like they could see how they were cast. So it was almost a natural thing that they did, you know?
Yeah. And I think there was,
I don't know. They could have told them. I mean, because we don't know behind the scenes. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but they don't tell you what they tell you to do behind the scenes. Right. So, you know, whenever that situation has presented itself, you know, when I saw the cast get introduced, I was like, oh, the numbers are different and a lot different, and they look a lot different than the typical like so white Big Brother. I mean, honestly, that's what it is.
Right. And I was interested when I saw the cast to see what would happen, because my thought was they should join together. Will they do it? Or will the females say, let's join this all female alliance? Or the males titter off? I think it's a social experiment in what happens and what's the goal. And I think had someone not said it, I don't know that it would have happened or as organically as it did, because I think people would have still been trying to. And I do also think that's one of the reasons, because of the diversity of the cast, that we started the season the way we did. We're going to let 2 people pick the teams, or 4 people pick the teams, see where it lands. You know, we're going to say, these are natural alliances. You're with these 4 people for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Are you going to form a bond, or will social differences come into play? Are, the people of color going to start sticking together, or the females going to start sticking together? Married versus unmarried. There are people who different sexual orientation in the house. What will happen? Are people going to couple up? And I'm loving that we're not seeing as many showmances this year, because I think that just it makes the show so much more interesting. So I think this is a good take, and I think they could potentially continue down this road, but maybe throw some more curveballs in there, because this is one of those alliances that you can do one time. It's not going to happen season 24, season 25. You had one opportunity to do it. You did it. If it works, it can never be done again, because people are going to say this group of people is going to stick together. So they're going to have to be forced to see other alliances. I think it's interesting to watch it happen. But again, I think it's one of those things that you're not going to see happen again.
I completely agree, because that is something I've thought from day one of them doing this alliance was, if you're going to do this, it's going to have to be perfect.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of you in it.
A lot.
There's a lot of you in it. There's a lot of mouthy people in that group. And you have different types of people too. And I'm not talking color, obviously. I'm talking more like there's the Braun guys, and then there's the Derek F, who's not really done much, then there's...
Or that girl that I forget her name. Wasn't her Zai? I don't know her name.
Anna. Oh, Azza.
Azza, yeah.
Yeah.
I forget she's on the show half the time.
There's people that they, who knows what your outside buddy system person's going to be. It's, those are that's things. And now we're on the second half of the show, right? We're on the back end of the show now. People are going to jury. People are doing jury management. And this alliance is going to have to continue this all the way through for anyone to consider it even a remote success, right? Like, I feel like even if one person, they trickle out, or one person goes against it and still 5 people stick together, nobody's going to be talking about the alliance anymore.
I think it's going to be the cookout's going to be the final 6. I mean, I honestly think it's going to be like that. I mean, it's I've never seen an alliance in this game, and I'll say it again, get to this point without a leak, right?
Or without really having a head of household.
Yeah,
they have not been head of household. Even this week's head of household got hijacked.
Right. It goes back to that buddy system.
It's they've done this without putting a lot of, not pressure, what's the word I'm like, focus on themselves, because they're not nominating people.
Yeah.
I mean, they did, but then it got hijacked. So it was like, oh, we're going to keep it the same. But I also find curious, it makes me think that someone from jury is coming back, because nobody in jury knows about this alliance either. Julie Chen doesn't talk to people and say, you were a casualty of this alliance, which she has done in previous seasons. So it makes me think that they're going to bring someone back.
To jury, though, she doesn't tell
that's right.
anything
that's
when
true.
they go to jury. However, people's away messages, going away messages, sometimes somebody will say, "Hey, look, there's this big group of us," but we don't see those because they do them all fair.
Yeah.
So tell me who both of you think is playing the best game right now.
Tiffany.
I get that. I think Derek has to. I think Derek Fraser has to. I think he's just kind of
really.
Yeah, really? I just think I'll say it like this: man knows what he wants. He goes after money in front of safety and veto meetings. Like he's getting it where he fit in. I love that, and he's basically being himself. And the other person who I really like is Xavier, and somebody who can hold close to the vest. That he's an attorney. Like I ain't got now. Like,
see, it's interesting you say that, because I think he's the one who could potentially derail the whole thing.
Oh, you think so?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Which one?
Xavier.
Really? See,
Mhm.
I think Derek F could.
Derek F doesn't really. I think Xavier and Hannah. I think his feelings for not Hannah, Alyssa.
Ozza. Oh, Alyssa is his buddy.
Alyssa. Yeah, something's going to happen there because to me, Claire is going to be the one who figures it out if she's the next one to go home. She's close to figuring it out,
I
but
think,
not because of her relationship with Tiffany.
yeah. I think Kylan was close to screwing it up.
With his push for Sarah Beth.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I like Xavier. I think he is playing just that good mix of social plus he's thrown a couple comps at the right
Yeah.
time,
Mhm.
as well as won a couple things. Like he sprinkled them in when he had to. He also knew what he was doing when he put himself up as the third nominee because
He knew he was safe.
he knew he was safe. He had every number in there. He was like, "Oh no, I'm the third nominee." Psych, like kidding, it doesn't matter. I'm fine. I think he's just a smart player. I like I'm going to say I like. I do think Tiffany's playing a really good game, and I think she is leading a lot of things when it comes to how the cookout operates. But I don't think she'll make it to the end.
No, she'll be one of the first ones they vote out because they can all see it. They're letting
think
her
so.
take the brunt of this.
Yeah.
I will tell you the person who's frustrated me the most is Derek X because he didn't play the game when he needed to. Like,
Yeah.
I think I just got
That was
so
dumb.
frustrated.
That was just dumb.
I was just
that was
like,
dumb,
why?
dumb. You
Derek
listen to the wrong
X-
people there.
So there is a new podcast out called The Winner's Circle, which is Cody and Derek Lavassier. The cop.
Oh, the
who-
cop. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who was the detective that lied
That
about
never
being a
nobody
detective.
knew.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's, kind of considered one of the best players ever on
Yeah,
Big
I would
Brother,
say
right?
so.
And then he and Cody had that alliance their season, and then Cody came back and won the All-Star season.
Mhm.
But these two have a new podcast called The Winner's Circle, and I've been listening to it. They record it once a week after the person is evicted. And the people that weren't in jury, they actually have on the show.
Mhm.
Once people started going to jury, they submit their questions through CBS, and the person reads the question and then responds to it, right? And the first whole episode of theirs that I've listened to was the one with Derek X.
Mm.
And he's got a lot of regrets.
Oh,
Like,
I would
he
too.
knows it from very end. Like he was not happy with how he did things. And I agree. He screwed himself over on that one. Like he's in jury because of himself.
He'll come back for an all-star, but I think he had a great opportunity to make it to the final two. Because
Yeah.
let's face it, they were going to pull him along because everybody liked Derek X.
Yeah.
He was Hannah's guy, potential showmancer that never existed. He was Tiffany's BFF.
Yeah.
I mean, he was going to go far.
Yeah.
And I think had he known about the cookout and they pulled him in, he would have played a different game.
So did you guys catch it? There
He was going
one
to come in
time-
seventh in that alliance, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Tiffany trusts him more than she trusts anybody else.
Well, did you pick up on that time? It was like the week before that he was leaving. And I think it was him and Claire, maybe, that were discussing, and he was like, so if so-and-so's like really protecting so-and-so, and he's playing out scenarios, just like they
Yeah.
do when they're on the block, right? Like, well, if this person votes with this and then whatever. And he said something about, wow, if those people are all really working together, that's a lot or something. And he alludes to this large group of 6 that he's kind of deduced that there is people coming from different angles for. Because he was like, I didn't see them all working together, but wow, that's a big group or something. And do you think, and it's almost like production cut him off. And I wonder, because, has production held back from letting people say something about there being a person of color alliance?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't
That's
know.
a good question.
Obviously, we don't know.
You don't know. You don't know what happens. I mean,
Or is production trying to basically say, look, yes, these people, we all see it. That's a person of color alliance. We see it. But we don't have to state it out loud like we're, as Moose was saying at the beginning, maybe there's some people that say, well, how come there's not an all-white alliance, this, and they call themselves a white alliance, whereas this one says a person of color alliance.
the
Right?
whiteys.
Right. So that's why, I'm wondering if production has had just a tiny hand in that of not showing us.
Well, we
Somebody
talked about
saying,
that too, Mary Margaret, about just how they edit that show together. I mean, it
Of
just,
course. Yeah.
I have Paramount Plus, but I don't watch live feeds. So we don't really know what goes on a lot, or I don't really pay attention. I haven't kept up with the joke with, the Joker site and all that stuff this year either. But
So I'll tell you, I have Paramount Plus as well.
okay.
And I mean, I had it before I knew that's where the live feeds were going to be, right? Because I love Yellowstone. But I've gone to the live feeds. Okay. I never was like a live feed subscriber. I'd done the free trial before, and it just never seemed like I could remember or get to it. Well, anyway, I've gone to the live feeds a couple of times. And I will tell you, there is no way in hell I would do that show with the crap that I sit there and tune into. It's the most boring stuff. I never see anything juicy on live feeds, no matter when I tune in.
Well, there's no showmances this year.
There is nothing. There's no whispering in the rooms of somebody talking about game or something. They're sitting around talking about why one toe grows longer than the other or stuff, and braiding each other's hair, and then
It's true voyeur stuff. It really
it's sitting there being bored and watching these people, and I kept thinking well, surely I'm going to catch some of them talking about game where you can switch between cameras, and there's going to be one in the room, because we always see that on the show where they've pulled that and said last night, here's a conversation that was had.
And you don't see that even on
I never see that shit. Never see it whenever I'm watching these live feeds. So I don't ever.
You don't even see. We don't even see it in the actual show that airs. There's never. I mean, if you think about it, now that you brought it up, I just thought about it. They don't show any of the oh, well, this happened this week. There's nothing to pull from. They're a bunch of boring. They're boring people.
But they're playing a better game, I think, because they're not all sidetracked by a bunch of personal. You know what I mean? We always watch people working out or in the hammock or making out, and I'm tired of watching that.
I don't know. As a viewer, that's what I tune in for.
All right, I have a question for both of you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no, go ahead. Finish what you were going to say about the live feeds.
Well, I was just going to say that I do think that one thing that was good to see this year, which I know they've done sometimes in different things, but they haven't always had time for it on seasons. But, they did a service project this year. They did the Red Cross, fill in the Red Cross bags on the show, which, hey, you know what? That's good. You're sitting around a house doing nothing right now. Why not be doing something like this and support a service project like this? I thought that was great. I was glad to see CBS taking advantage of having this time and hands to do it. So that, and then they had Dear Evan Hansen be the sponsor of last night's episode. So they were doing that. I like that stuff. And quite honestly, when you don't have all this other drama and showman stuff going on, they have time for those things.
Okay, so here's my question. I think this alliance starts to fall apart next week if Claire or Alyssa wins head of household. And do you think Claire will figure it out if she doesn't win head of household, is put on the block,
She can't play head of household.
Oh, because of the thing.
She's a secret HOH. That's why they planned it that way. They made her play her coin of destiny.
That's right.
Instead of Tiffany, because Tiffany said, I got to play next week if I'm going to get thrown off. But Claire doesn't play next week, and that's how we're getting her out.
That's right. That's right. Do you think if she's put on the blocks, let's say if she wins veto or whatever, this could all, this could all be thrown off if Alyssa wins. So if Alyssa wins, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But do you think because I don't think Alyssa's going to figure it out. Do you think Claire figures it out? And if she does, do you think she tries to flip the script, talk to Alyssa and the other girls in the house and say, look, I'm aware of what's going on. You guys have the numbers. You're going to get to final 6, but what if we work together and get the guys out and the 4 of us go, or the 5 of us go, and then let it be a woman who wins? And do you think that would work if she tried that?
I think she is definitely the closest one to figuring it out, but I don't think she figures it out completely before she gets kicked out of the house. I think when she's sitting in jury, she's going to put all of it together and she'll figure that out in jury for sure. But I don't think she figures it out before she gets out of the house. And even if she did, let's say she did have an inkling of it and she tried to go to these girls, I do not think Tiffany or Hannah would abandon the cookout.
True. Okay, another scenario. Let's say Xavier wins. Claire goes up. Claire wins veto. Does he put Alyssa up?
Yes.
But then everything would be exposed.
But who's she up against?
I don't know. Wouldn't it be Tiffany at that point? Isn't Claire Tiffany's person, or no? Am I wrong about that?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Can I pose a question to y'all? So, at no point in Big Brother history has an alliance been like this, right? We've gone in circles about this.
No, there has.
No. I'm just saying, like, as a cultural group, right?
Wait, Moose, real quick.
Okay.
I was just thinking about Jeanette's question. If
I took it in review now.
if Xavier wins,
okay,
Claire wins veto, pulls herself off. I think he puts up Alyssa against Tiffany. Let's say Tiffany's up there. I think he puts up Alyssa because he's going to tell her she's a pawn.
But that'll work with Alyssa. I don't think that would work with anybody else.
Well, that's the thing. It has to be Alyssa, right? So I think he's going to put her up and be like, look, we're going to do this so that we can get Tiffany out. And she's clearly working with some of these other guys. When really, it's not. He's going to have to tell her that. And she's going to believe him because she walks on water for Xavier. And she played the roulette thing and got his butt put up on there. So I do think she's going to have to go up and he's going to have to say something like, you're a pawn to get Tiffany out because these other guys would vote for you over her or whatever.
Or he throws a competition so he doesn't even have to play. Or so he doesn't even have to make that decision.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens now.
Okay, Moose, go for it.
Okay, so I'm just gonna review, right? So we've got it's still in the house. We have Alyssa, Azah, Claire, Derek, Hannah, Kylan, Sarah Beth. She's gonna get evicted this week. And Tiffany and Xavier, right? So out of those people, there's like just like a 2 or 3 non-cookout members that are there. They're gone, y'all. They're gone. Like, see you later, bye. And I think there's a couple reasons, right? And kind of which brings
Claire.
I'm sorry?
Alyssa and Claire.
Yeah, right. So that gives them basically if one of 2 people win HOH out of 8, so like it's the numbers just aren't looking good for anybody.
They're not.
Right. So, okay. And here's the question I was going to pose, right? So never in the history of Big Brother has like a cultural alliance like this formed, right? I mean, the numbers have never been there to do that, right? What happens to them outside the house if they go against that alliance? Right. So that's the things that I think about. And that's just my head run a million miles a minute. But like if they go against the alliance, right, typically they're probably going to get voted out. So what's their, I mean, honestly, like what would that even look like outside the house? So like you went against like this cultural juggernaut, right? For something. But and my point is they're not going to. I mean, that's just one caveat of them not going against that alliance.
But I think Highland, even though we won't see the goodbye message, I don't think, is going to tell Sarah Beth this week about the alliance because
I feel like it too.
Because she cried and said, I'm here because nobody likes me. And it took everything in him not to tell her. He tried to say, that's not true. That's not true. You know, I don't think that's why. And she goes, no, it absolutely is. And I think because of her feelings and not wanting her to go into this feeling like nobody likes her, he's going to tell her this week in the goodbye message, there's an alliance. She's going to take that to the jury house. I think
that's a very, very good possibility. That's
absolutely. And I think by the time Claire gets there, even if Sarah Beth doesn't know about it, I think by the time Claire gets there, they're all going to figure it out. Derek X is sitting in there putting together pieces. They're all able to, we've seen it happen when you get to jury. We've seen people have moments of clarity, right? And say, oh, wait, you just got out? Okay, well, that makes sense now, right?
Yeah.
But don't they get to watch the episodes?
They only see the winners. They see the competition HOH stuff.
Oh, okay. I knew they took a videotape with them, but I didn't know like what picture they saw. Okay.
They don't see any game talk. So, yeah, they know who's the next HOH.
Moose, I think the closest that we've come to this before, and it's not even cultural. Do you remember? And it's going to bother me because I can't remember the name of the group. I can see their faces. There was a group, and there was I think 5 guys, and they pulled in one female, and I don't remember her name, but I remember thinking, oh gosh, I'm going to start doing that thing, Mary Margaret. I'm like that one guy with the hat.
That girl.
So there was one guy who always wore a hat. She was a Southern girl. Everybody liked her. She was the one female in the group.
Brittany.
And we all thought that she should have a showmance with that guy, but she was in a relationship.
Brittany Hayes. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think the closest we've come is that. And that alliance stuck together through the whole thing, brought her in as the 6th, but then immediately got rid of her once it was down to the last 6 people and the 5 of them were going on together. I think that's the closest we've come. But they did get rid of her and went with the 5 guys that they started the show with on day 1.
It was the brigade.
The brigade. Yeah. I started thinking about trucker hats. I'm like, that's not it. It was the brigade. Yeah. I think, Moose, that's the closest we've come to this before.
Yeah, you're right on that. But, you know, and here's the thing, like, and I'll just kind of expound on that point I was trying to make is that it's not even the Big Brother game. Right. It's outside of Big Brother. So I'll just throw a hypothetical out there. Xavier, or no, we'll say Kylan like blows this alliance up, right? He goes outside the house. Do you think he'll have like replications? Like,
no, it's a game.
I know, but I realize that, but it's just different this year. It's just different.
I don't think
because I think it's just hot button a little bit.
He's not blowing up anything because the numbers are there. It's going to take a miracle for Claire or Alyssa to win. And if they win against what's going on in the house, or if they somehow flip it and break up the cookout and they all go to separate sides, then good on them. But I don't think it's going to be anything like, I think it would have been something bigger of like Chilltown turned on each other, which they have now. You know what I mean? Like
they did.
Right.
They did, but I don't think this is going to be one of those where it would have been something had 1 or 2 people join the cookout and then later when it was maybe down to 8 or 9, broke apart, joined another alliance and said, I'm secretly with the cookout, but this is the alliance I'm going to. I think there would have been bigger repercussions there. But
Yeah.
the
I
way it
gotcha.
is now, no, they're going to have to flip on each other at some point. The numbers are there now. There's not, it's all comes down to gameplay now. What's best for your game? Because
Right.
again, if Claire or Alyssa wins, then good on them. But it's like you said, I don't think the numbers are there for that to happen.
Sure. Mary Margaret, what's been your highlight this year? You've been the one firing questions out. What's y'all's highlights this year? And I'll even say highlights and lowlights. I'll give you a top couple.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like Jeanette. I'm glad there's not like as much showmance type stuff and that type of play, I guess.
Girls throwing their games away for boys.
tend to get draining sometimes. I've liked the little tiny alterations of the challenges. I think there's been some good challenges this year in the way that they've done them. Especially when it was like the card teams, aces, kings, queens, jokers. I thought that spin was really good that they were going to play as teams. I think that there was unfortunately some people like Brittany who got caught up in that and kept thinking like the kings or the aces or whatever team she was on was going to keep going, that after that was all done, it didn't matter. And I think she focused too much on the teams, thinking they were all going to stay together even after that twist was done. And that sealed her fate because everybody else was doing other alliances instead of the teams. They used it as a cover for a while. What I haven't liked is that I do feel like we're missing some of the I feel like we're missing some of the intensity with some of these because everybody's playing it pretty aloof on some of the stuff. I feel like because the Cookout kind of said their piece and then they've split, they don't sit around discussing it.
They're not hanging out together in the backyard.
There's not all 6 of them sitting in the backyard talking, right? So everything else has not been as intense. They've just been kind of, again, it's brilliant. You've got your buddy system that's really smart, but it makes for kind of a sleepy backdooring and all that stuff. I love a backdoor. I love when people like get blindsided. I love that stuff, and we haven't really seen much of that. I feel like everybody that's gone home has pretty much known they were going home, and that was set. So I wish there was more of that. Now, let's assume that the Cookout, the 6 members of the Cookout, are the final 6. Everybody else is out of the house. Who wins the game, and who's the top 2 sitting beside each other at the finale?
I think it all depends on who wins HOH each week. I think either Tiffany or Azah will be the first to go because Azah's kind of just there. She's one of the floaters. She hasn't really done much. She hasn't really done much to help the team. So I think they'll take that into consideration and just say, let's just, if we're going to take this to the end, it can't be Azah. She's just been here essentially and being pulled along by everybody that she's been aligned with. So I think either she or Tiffany will be the first to go, depending on who wins head of household. I would drop Azah first. And then from there, I think it's just play and see who wins and see who wins veto. And I think they're just going to battle it out between the 5 of them. I don't know because I don't know what the competitions are going to be.
Well, who do you want in the final 2 of the Cookout? Because we have to assume it's going to be those are the final 6. Out of those final 6,
I honestly would not be disappointed in any. I like Derek F. I like Kyland. I like Hannah. I'm okay with Tiffany. I like the way Tiffany's playing the game. So I think she deserves to win because she's played a great game. So between her and Derek F, I'd say, I would like one of those 2 to win, but honestly, I'd be okay with any of them except Azah. I don't want Azah to win. Azah or Xavier. I think any of the other 4 I'm fine with. Because I kind of feel like, yes, he's thrown some competitions, but I feel like he's just kind of floated by too. Because he knows he can do those things because he's protected. He doesn't take any chances. He just lays low and lets other people get their hands dirty.
Moose?
Yeah, I like Derek. I like Derek too, but let's just be honest. Like, he is terrible at competitions. Like, he's not going to win anything. And I think he's a floater just like anybody else. And honestly, like you saw, like when he had the chance to win money, he took it. And I think that's one of the reasons he did that is because I think he believes deep down inside he can't win. I don't think he has the chance. I don't think he's got it in him to win it. So I'll put it out there. But I like the guy. I think he's kind of jovial and gregarious. So I think he's, he's a nice enough guy, right? So to be honest, I think Xavier is going to win. I think he's going to have, I think he's kind of been laying low, but then you see like when he has to win competition, he smokes it. He absolutely smokes it. Like that domino competition. Come on. Like he just ran through it. And basically
I think he's smart.
Yeah, absolutely. And took all those punishments, knowing that he's like, I got the alliance behind me. I can take whatever it is. Put me on the block. It doesn't matter. I'm not going home. So I think that's, he's smart in that regard. The only thing that I'm really glad about this season is honestly Brittany's not here anymore. Like that girl got on my nerves with that nonsense rapping stuff. And it would be different if she was like really good at it.
Well, I didn't like the whole, like, I would get so annoyed by her.
Just get on, girl. Get out of here. Yeah.
When she'd stand up and she's doing this, like screaming at the camera and stuff in the diary room, and then she would cry. She's either screaming or crying. And it was, I get it. It was, she was being put on the block a lot at the beginning. So she was emotionally drained.
Right.
But
because people didn't like her.
Well, I kind of wanted to be like, do something about it,
Yeah.
Either, change up some of your strategies, like take a look at it. Don't just assume they're just putting you up because you're a pawn every week. Clearly you're not.
Right,
yeah, you're not a pawn. That's the thing. Like I can't, she got voted out 6th. I could not believe she lasted that long. To be honest, I thought they were going to bounce her like the second week. But
Frenchie came out too hard, too fast.
That's what I was you took the words out of my mouth. So
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I really did like Frenchie. Like I really thought that guy could have put together a good game and probably some decent alliances. That's face value. But when you actually got to like meet the guy and knew his qualities, he had no chance. No chance in this game because he ran that mouth. He ran the mouth.
He was too much. It was
too much. Everything, all the time. For my buddy Bo Vernon says.
He was, and he was all in Big Brother too. I'm a super fan. I'm this, I'm that, and I'm like, dude, quit saying it. Quit saying it. It's not good for you. It's not good for you right now. So I know we've definitely, had a few very forgettable people on the episodes already, on the show this season. And then some people that I think are definite all-star potential. So there has been a nice mix of some smart players and some not so smart. Has Derek F. told people that he's smoking Joe Frazier's son?
I don't think so.
Sure haven't heard anything about it.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, and that would be bad because then people are like, well, you don't need the money.
Right. And then Xavier is lying about his career. Sarah Beth is lying about hers. Claire is lying about hers. Because they were like scientist people, right? Like, so, those things are always interesting whenever they come out at the end.
So I've got their occupations here. So which one were you asking about?
I was just curious if, I was just saying that I think that Claire and Sarah Beth are hiding theirs because they have the science background.
Oh, yeah. Well, just hiding the fact that they're brilliant people.
Right.
Amongst us,
Yeah. So I do think this is when the game starts happening, right? This is the second half, and we're now in thick of jury. So the big questions are, is there going to be a comeback a jury comeback player? And will the cookout be the top 6? Those things are gonna, what a crummy situation for whoever comes back from the jury, right? Comes back into the house of the cookout. And then
I don't think they're going to do it
oh,
this year. Hot take. I don't think they're going to do it.
Yeah.
I got a feeling.
I really think it's going to be a good second half of the season, because now is when they have to start turning on each other. I hate to be the dramatic about it, but give me some drama when the 6 of you got to come after each other. Let's see who can really play at that point. Right? So, any other thoughts on Big Brother season 23 thus far?
Yeah, thanks again for letting me come on and hijack your podcast, guys. I appreciate it. But the only thing that I never got. Did you know Brent's last name is Champagne?
Yes.
You know that?
Remember, he said it in the beginning.
I didn't know. I didn't realize that.
Because he's a flight attendant and he's fancy.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
I missed that part.
Don't give me Brent as my flight attendant on any flight ever, please. All right, guys. Well, expect the unexpected. We'll see what happens next. We've got another full season, or we've been given thus far another full season of sweet goodbyes from Julie Chen Moonves. So I'm curious to see where it all goes. Otherwise, that's all I got, guys. Thanks for joining me. Moose, thanks for piping in on some Big Brother hit and see what we come up with. We'll all stay in touch now. We've tried not to talk about it up until now, which has been nice. So we'll touch base as they get a little further in. Jeanette, as always, good to see you. Thank you for being here today.
Yeah, glad to be here.
And thanks everybody for listening at home. We hope that you've enjoyed Chick Chat, Big Brother fans or not. Be sure to go over to themesh.tv and check out all the other shows that The Mesh has to offer. And until then, we'll catch you on the flip side.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.